Gloves to Grove. Let's head up to Grove Lane where Mark's got a question. Go ahead, Mark. I almost called you Grove. Go ahead, Mark.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, Mark.
So I've got a 2005 Dodge Durango with about 243,000 miles on it that is a daily driver, about 80 miles round trip. Up until the storm was running great. Moved it to load some stuff in it as the storm was exiting. Started fine, didn't have any issues with it. Wife went out the next morning to go to work and turned the key, and all it does is fast crank.
Okay, say that last part again, Mark. You broke up a little bit.
I apologize. When she went out to start it the next morning to head to work, all it would do is just fast crank.
Okay, so it would crank over, but it wouldn't start, correct?
To me, it seems like it's cranking much faster than it normally would.
Okay.
That makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I see this. I see this all the time. And, usually that is an indication that something has gas washed the cylinders and washed all the oil off of them. A computer can do that, Mark, believe it or not. I've seen it to where people shut a vehicle off, and for some reason or other, the computer will operate the injectors, and literally whatever residual fuel there was in the fuel system will actually dump right straight down into the cylinders. And when that happens, it'll actually wash the oil off of the rings, especially the oil control ring, and off the cylinders. And when you go to start it back up, the daggone thing would sound like that you didn't have any compression. You'd think that you lost a timing chain or a timing belt on a motor.
Right.
If that's the case, I will tell you what I normally try, and you may want to try this. Now, this is not saying that your timing chain didn't break on the thing. I mean, it could have with this kind of miles on it. But if that isn't the case, what you should be able to pull the distributor cap, take the distributor cap off, and actually look. I believe that one still does that one still use a distributor? Or
on an 05, I don't know.
That's probably a coil over. Yeah, that's probably a coil over. I was trying to think of an easy way for you to check to see if the camshaft is turning, but you may not be able to. Right. But if the chain didn't break or the gear round off or something like that, I would usually take and spray a little bit of transmission fluid back up through the intake. Hold the throttle body open, which somebody'd have to be inside the car with the key on and the foot to the floor. I take a spray bottle, literally put some tranny fluid in it and spray it back up and through the intake while the engine's being cranked. And that way that oil can get back into around the pistons, and around the piston rings. And if that's the case, maybe it'll go ahead and fire back up. But we do get vehicles in like that all the time. It's been sitting for a long period of time. All the oil will come off of those rings, and when it does, there is no compression hardly at all in the motor, not enough for it to actually start. If you can't get it running with that, Mark, I don't know what your mechanical abilities are, but if spraying a little bit of oil back up in through the motor, a little tranny fluid, something along those lines to see if it helps get it started again. If it doesn't do that, then there's going to need to be some testing that's going to be involved with it. When we're talking fuel pressure tests, compression tests, finding out if the camshaft's turning. So there's a lot of other things that's going to have to be involved with it. So you can do that. You can certainly gives you a place to start.
We have